Hello everyone, welcome to the Shootout Podcast. I'm your host Ross Baxter and today is episode 51 of the series. But before we even get into the podcast or anything, we've got an amazing announcement to make. I've officially got my first ever sponsor on the podcast. The Rookies Awards officially sponsoring the podcast. I'm so grateful and so happy to have the guys on. It means so much. And with that said, the Rookies Award is this online school and online competition. They've done so much for me over the last few years, and it really means a lot to have them on board. They've taught me so much about the industry and they've done so much for students over the years. And with all that said, let's actually dive in and talk about what the Rookies Award is, and I'll show you through watching this video. So enjoy and relax and enjoy the show. Thanks for listening.
You know, it's about the quality of the student work at the end of the day. It's about seeing your work and being able to showcase the school and saying, hey, you guys are doing an amazing job.
I just wanted to get my work out there. I knew that I didn't really have a chance to win, not yet, but I just wanted to get to know the competition.
I actually heard about Think Tank through the Rookies, the list that they do about the schools and stuff like that. It was a whole different setting to do something specifically for the rookies, to just have that goal in mind that you need to put your best out there.
You know, the reason why we started the Rookies was to get students to make that first sort of step to showcase their work on a global stage. There's a lot of different skills that come with being a student. It's not necessarily just the artwork, it's being able to get out there socially, being able to sell yourself. A lot of the times, you know, we find students that would be tucked away in their bedroom doing phenomenal work, but no one would ever know about it.
I really wanted a chance to showcase some of the things that I learned here. It gives you a chance to push yourself and see what you're really capable of.
I read an article with one of the Rookies winners, and he was actually from Think Tank. I was both in the draft selection and I got the excellence. It was a month of really hard work and then just waiting for the results, which was very exciting.
I entered to the Rookies with my first character. Besides all the software, I learned that I trust myself a bit more in those situations, and I could compare my skills with other artists, so this was a good thing.
It sets a benchmark to know where you're at in the industry. You know, lots of recruiters from all around the world are constantly looking at the Rookies when it's running.
To be seen by everyone and ranked by industry professionals and things like that, it was good for me as an artist.
Even when I know that there's people that are better than me out there, it's just a drive for me to push myself harder.
Working on your own stuff and then working with something that has a deadline, it's a nice challenge, it's a nice change of pace.
Till the very end, I wasn't sure if I can actually complete the project. Working under such a tight deadline, that just showed me that I'm capable of finishing.
The next year I'll try to participate again. I'm feeling comfortable to do anything now.
It's not about the quantity, it's just about nailing whatever you're showcasing, not giving everything away as well. You want me as the viewer to go, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that because that was amazing.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Shootout Podcast. I'm your host Ross Baxter and today is episode 51 of the series. I'm so happy to announce, I've been waiting for ages to say this, so I'm so nervous to say this, but it's actually really proud to say it. It's my first sponsor on the podcast, and we have the Rookies Award sponsoring the podcast. So if you're new to the Rookies Award is open to all amateur artists, and if you're trying to break into the creative media and entertainment industry, you're eligible. Students, recent graduates and self-taught artists are allowed to enter. The goal of this award is to help encourage and motivate artists to share their work. The Rookies Award also has their own blog, Discord and weekly news updates that can be found on the website. So as always folks, I always make sure to put them in the description below. So check out the links and make sure to check them out. If you're new to the podcast, the show is a weekly series where I bring on guests from the game and film industries from all backgrounds to cover their journey and thoughts on student education. The podcast is live on 10 other platforms. Like I said last week, we've actually added another platform alongside YouTube, and you can find it on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. And last but not least, we've got Stitcher. But with all that said, do we have an incredible guest for you today? Yes, we do. We've got... He's worked with so many great works with AAA titles, such as Forza Horizon 4 and The Walking Dead. He's an amazing environment artist and prop artist. We got Amanpreet Bajwa on the show. How's it going, man? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me here. Like everything is great. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Like I said, so before we were just doing like a little test. So I always do an audio test, and I was just talking about his favorite film and stuff, and just it's so awesome getting to get to know you, and like your art is so incredible. Like there's going to be so much awesome discussions, and thank you once again for coming on.
Thank you very much.
So as always, man, we always just start with, like the simple, I guess, like the introductions and stuff. So. Just it'd be great just to tell us a wee bit about yourself, so what you do, and I guess what got you into art as well.
Yeah, myself, Amanpreet Bajwa. So I'm a environment and prop artist. So I'm working in the game industry for past 3 years. I've been previously working at Dhruva Interactive, and now I'm like working freelance on some projects which I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to stay with my family and work on my portfolio. So few months I'm spending my time with my family.
Nice.
And so like I always fond of game like from my childhood. Like my uncle had Sony Ericsson phone, I think, which had very cool games like which is Prince of Persia, like Java games. So which got me interested to the games, and then like slowly when I got to know about the industry more and more, and with so many cool games like PlayStation came along, the PlayStation 2, 3 came along. So I decided to go with gaming industry. So with mainly multimedia.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So like
So
like when it came to like for example your portfolio, so I was actually putting out quite a few tweets about your artwork, and by gosh did your artwork kick off. Everyone was liking it like crazy. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? It was just awesome.
yeah, like I really appreciate like you shared my work. Like so like mainly like those two things I'm like really proud of, like that Feudal Japan and the main scene. I worked really hard on those, so I'm really proud of those scenes.
Because
Yeah.
it's like you have this sort of so I was trying to think about how to like describe your artwork. So for example, everyone who's tuning in, by the way, how have I not even said this? All of you, you know, like there's thousands of you, you know what you want to do. You want to go smash the follow button on his art station. You want to go share his artwork. Go check out his portfolio. Trust me, he makes such amazing artwork, and he has like so much skill from. He literally covers everything, and he does one thing that I've always wanted to get really good at, and that's like mastering like vegetation and foliage, etc. And his two latest pieces, the North Kingdom and the Valley of the Peace, is such really nice artwork. And actually, if you're okay with it, Baj, to talk about your process later down the line, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure.
Like that'd be
Yeah.
super cool. So as always, man. So when it comes to the podcast, I kind of like to stick with the same sort of fundamental questions, and then once I've got that rolling, we kind of like tailor into other questions, etc.
Yep.
So
Sure.
we'll start off with like one of the easier ones. So this is the common one. So did university teach you how to be ready for the industry?
So like first so like my story is like very interesting story, like always love to share my like a whole story like how I got into this industry. So like I mainly was like from starting like I was like a technical guy, so I had diploma in computer science, so I was doing programming, web developing and everything. So there I got to know about the Photoshop. So one of my friends' cousin was doing like one course at one institute, and I went there. So they showed me very like so many softwares and industries and everything. So I got admission in like 3D animation and VFX. So like till this point there is nothing to do with gaming. So I just got in there. They said like same and everything. So I got to know all the softwares, like you name it, the software in 3D animation and VFX, like Max, Maya, like Mocha, and After Effects, like Nuke, Fusion, like you name it. They taught all the softwares. But like the problem was it was not industry standard.
Okay.
Like, they were teaching like very old school things. They were teaching like even those teachers were not industry professionals. They were like teaching from long. Just they were just basic. If I say like they gave me knowledge for softwares, not like industry techniques and everything. Nothing for that.
Yeah.
So like I will say like they didn't make me industry ready
Okay.
after graduating.
because like, well, I'm really glad you said that in terms of like because obviously when it comes to the industry, obviously like there's jobs, there's massive companies all around the world, and it'll be great to kind of hear as well also like what the industry is like in India in terms of like maybe like the opportunities and stuff. Because
Y-
I am aware that obviously like each country has different things available to them, etc. And and once again, obviously going back to like your whole sort of story and stuff, and then also talk about like the education side of things. But like to carry on like the question that we're talking about just now is like what are the benefits of going to university? Like obviously like you had all the software and stuff, but was there anything that you thought maybe was something that they did maybe differently that was really good, or was it, or would you say it was quite just your common trend of what to expect, or do you think you expected a lot more?
Like for me, like I didn't know anything about the industry, like how it works. Like I thought how they're teaching, it's like it's supposed to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like once I came to the final years, I got to understand like when my senior got, because my seniors were getting jobs and all the people they were telling. So this is a like normal standard thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the one good thing happened, like so what they used to do, they used to bring like industry professional to give workshops on things.
Okay.
So one of them gave a workshop on like this gaming pipelines, like high poly, low poly, and the making props and characters and everything. So like that caught my interest. Like I wanted to go to like into characters first, like when I was passing out. So that was, I think, that little different. I don't know, because all the industry, all the universities, they bring industry people to give workshop and all. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's different. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah.
I know that's a great point, because it's like so many people, like especially so when I was at university, there was so many talks getting brought in from the industry, and obviously like say they were like an hour long, like they'd be really good, but obviously it's like 1 hour is never enough. And
Mhm.
in terms of like obviously they'll mention things that you want to learn, or like things that you should be learning, but because it's not getting applied to maybe the teacher aspect, then it almost becomes irrelevant, because unfortunately they've just done a talk, and then obviously it's then down to you to whether or not to maybe go invest some money or whatever, and start practicing it, because that's always the shame. And it's been a common thing that's been brought up on the podcast, in which people have basically said that they've had to do most of the work themselves.
Yep. Yeah. So like the main thing which happened with me was like, so they taught everything. They taught character modeling, vehicle modeling, and like architecture modeling, interior, exteriors,
Mm-hmm.
and like for VFX modeling, like the dynamics, even rigging, animation, like you maybe like afterwards there was like a ray fire and all the fume effects, everything, like every simulation, even liquid simulations were there. So like by the third year, like you learn everything,
Wow. Right. Okay.
you name it. Yeah, but in the end they asked me like what do you want to pursue next. So like as a child who learned everything, I was confused, like I didn't know what to do
Mm-hmm.
at the point. So none of my teachers suggested anything. So one of my teachers said like, see, because like I thought I was good
Okay.
actually. So because I was comparing myself to the peers around me, like all the other students.
Yeah.
So they were not that. So I thought I was good at everything. So like, so one of my teachers said, do in rigging and animation, do your specialization in rigging and animation.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. So from my institute, I passed out as a rigging animation guy. So that's the interesting part in my story, like because like I passed out as a rigging animation. I make portfolio in the showreel in the animation.
Yeah.
So like so the thing happened, like I didn't get the job because the same thing happened because it was not that good. But I thought it was good, but it was not like industry standard.
Yeah.
So I didn't get any job by like after that. Like, for 6 months I was waiting. I didn't get job. So then there one opportunity they gave me. They said like, would you like to teach at the same like branch of the same institute? Like they gave me because I needed a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I will join as a teacher at a branch and I will make a portfolio. The simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like so that offer they gave me and they accepted me. So I had a training and I joined as a teacher. So
Wow,
still like,
awesome.
yeah, so for till this point, like, because again, teacher have to teach everything from
Yep.
modeling, texture, like getting animation, lighting, even dynamics. They have to teach. Like it's like journalist approach. So again, the thing happened for like 1.5 year. I taught many students. Some of them got very good jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them were like very good, and that got me thinking, like what I'm doing with my life, like why I'm not like making my portfolio and getting a job because my students are getting, then I can also get this.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to leave the institute, and I got home, and again like I started making portfolio. So again, so by that time I got to understand like I need a like decent portfolio to get a job, but I was still confused like what should I do, like modeling, texturing, and lighting or rigging animation, because I was equally good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was like for me it was hard to choose. Then after like few months, I didn't get any job. Like I applied, I made portfolio for each thing. Like modeling, texture, I made different portfolio. For ringing animation, I made different story. And for lighting, I made a different story and made a different resume. I sent for all the different jobs. Like I started applying for the jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, so of course I was not going to get any because those were not good. Like because I didn't put efforts to any of these.
Yep.
No, those. So like so I was like very sad. So one of my friend who was working at architecture firm, so he got me a job there. So he called me, they called me there, and they gave me a job. So it was very low salary first of all. So but I didn't need a job. So I got the work. So the second thing, like I never felt appreciated there.
Mm-hmm.
So I never enjoy the work also. I said like architecture I never enjoyed.
Yep.
It is like so like so then by that time I thought like I should choose now what I should do. So then I thought like I will go with modeling and texturing, and I left the studio after 6 months.
Okay.
So like it was like around mid of 2016, I think. So I'm again without job, and I have no portfolio. With the same portfolio I was applying at the same everywhere.
Yep.
So then I wanted, then I had to choose what I want to do in the modeling, like a character, hard surface, or like or even environment. So I didn't know that environment was this big
Yep.
then. I was like so fascinated by characters, like because characters are like I think I feel it. Characters are like over popular in the industry, like because everyone is like I want to be character artist, character
Definitely.
artist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
So like some of my friends said your characters are good, but because it's your peers are saying like it's good, like, so you can see like how good I was. So I made few characters and started applying at different places. And one of them was Dhruva Interactive where I was working. So like so I never got a reply actually for the character art.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I did, like I made few props and few environments I had previously. I put it there. If you check my North Kingdom,
Yep.
so if you scroll to the bottom, there is a screenshot.
Right. Let's have a look. See, I already had this links all prepared, folks. See, I came prepared. I was like instant, just spamming everything about
So,
Amanpreet everywhere on my screen. It's what I do every podcast. I'm like, right, I need to be organized for this.
so like if you see like at the bottom, that was my student work when I passed out of
Oh, right.
this.
Wow, I did not notice that the whole time that I. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was the block out. I didn't read this thing. Oh, I
So,
thought that was the block out. Wow. Right.
so,
Okay. Awesome. Sweet.
so this was still there when I applied for the environment art position.
Mm-hmm.
So so uh, I applied there and I got a call back from them. They said like you are shortlisted. So for that time I didn't believe it. Like how can someone give me a job opportunity when like no other studio is giving me, because Dhruva is a like big studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a great studio. Their work is great. I waited like to apply there in the end. I said it's a last resort. I
Yep.
knew like they won't hire me like because my work was not good. So but they said we will interview you. So they interviewed me and said they give me a test. So they gave me a test. I submitted it, and they said we will send you an offer. So like in March 2017, I joined them.
Wow, awesome. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. So like there is like so much stuff. Like even like what I felt was what made me realize when I joined there. Like so like there is like few good companies are there like in India.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave applied everywhere, all those studios. Most of them said like you don't have industry standard portfolio,
Yep,
which hurt me a lot. Like because I didn't know what is the industry standard. You
of
can see
course.
it, you can see games, but as a like newbie, you don't know what is the industry standard. What are the PBRs? They were asking me like you don't know PBR, work on that. I didn't know what was that,
Right.
and I didn't have like that good internet that time also. So I didn't know like what was like how to improve on those. I asked for feedback. They just tell me that work on your portfolio, add few good industry standard pieces, and we'll hire you.
Yep.
But
Like,
in the after that, like the Dhruva just hired me. Like in the next 1 week, they hired me. Like I was not believing it. Like how can it happen? Like like a big company which is hiring me. Like it was a risk. Like but they gave me opportunity.
yeah.
So when I went there, I joined there. Like I was like obliterated. Like I was like all around there are like 100 people with like awesome talent doing things I don't even know about what they are doing on the screens. Like there's something they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like so they introduced me and I got to meet people and I went to director who hired me and asked him like why did you hire me?
Oh, right.
Like
Okay. Wow. Right. That's brave. No, I
yeah,
respect that.
yeah. Yeah. So like I said, like nobody gave me a job. Like literally, I was like on the brink of crying there. Like I said, like nobody was giving me job.
Yeah.
Like so, why did you? So they said like, does it matter like now because you are already here. You should be feel proud now.
Of
Like you are
course.
part of Dhruva. So I said still like I want to understand it. Like so they said like we like your passion. You wanted to do anything. You were ready to do anything
Yeah.
just to get a job
Yeah.
and just to do like you want to do things and we need that kind of guy. We needed that kind of guy who want to do things like and they said like we can teach anything. We can teach you anything like what you want to learn,
Of course.
any software, any technique, but we needed passion and that you had.
Yeah.
So I was happy from that point, like at least like I understood what I had and what they saw in me
Yeah.
and for the job.
That's an
So
amazing
like
story.
yeah,
That's
like
that's that's an awesome story. I'm hyped. This is gonna
yeah,
be great.
like if you have time, like I will share you like what happened in 1.5 year. Like there is like long story. Like I will love to share like in some other time I will write a blog or something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Like
I'm always down for a chat. And if you ever want to do it again
yeah,
in the future, let me know, man. Let me
yeah,
know.
sure, sure. Yeah,
I'm completely up for that. Sounds awesome. Because like that's the thing. It's like when it comes to like the whole concept of opportunity, like sometimes. So I'm not really. I know sometimes people say it's down to a wee bit of luck, but personally, it's like it goes back to what you just said there. Like you nailed it perfectly. It's like as long as you can highlight like the passion and the commitment and like the drive to actually show that you're willing to learn and
yeah,
I understand that like everything's all based on sometimes like a wee bit of timing, whether like maybe a studio's looking for work, like or they're needing employers to come on and maybe work on something in Pacific, so things kind of get tailored around that, and like things change all the time. But like that's the great thing about like what you said there. It's like not only just obviously waiting for the opportunity, but you kept persistent and you kept trying, and like that's the thing that people have to realize is that it's a process and it takes time and and you just have to realize that trust me there will be somebody that will accept you, like there always is. It's just down
yeah,
to giving it the time that it deserves, because it took me 9 years to get me my job, and I was just very patient. I worked hard. I understood what I needed to do. I kept thinking about the positive aspects instead of like I've never really been a negative thinker. I've always made sure to always think positively no matter what the situation. But oh,
mm,
that story is awesome. No, that's really good. A really nice
yeah,
story. Um,
yeah.
I'm not sure if there's anything about the story else you want to talk about, or do you want us to go into the next question? I'm not sure what's your thoughts.
Yeah, like so the thing what I felt is like I don't know if it's like a recruitment industry's fault. Like the ignoring the candidate, I felt is like really sad.
Mm-hmm.
It still happened to me like after like when I started here, like after leaving Dhruva.
Yep.
So I applied at many studios, like even those same studios, they called me for the job, and after I gave test and interview, they never replied.
Yep.
So that ghosting thing, like I think like it hurt the industry very much. At
Definitely.
least you should give good feedback, like I got from few studios back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like it helped me to understand few things like which I needed to improve.
Yep.
So I think like even like as a like they were hiring me as a senior artist.
Right.
Still they were like ghosting me. Still didn't reply to the same mail even after asking like what's the status and like what's happening. They didn't reply. They just ignored.
It's
I
always
think
a like a how can I say it? Like I completely understand where you're coming from because a lot of my friends were explaining this situation happening to them and stuff, and it can be a very difficult thing at times. It's like you're trying to find answers, but no one's giving you a response. But
yeah,
then there's also the one thing that somebody explained to me was the fact that like obviously a lot of studios get like thousands of applications all the time, and it's like trying to get a balance between like response rate and stuff. But that's the thing. It's like when it comes to judging portfolios, I'm not sure how each studio does it. Obviously, I honestly don't know, but I understand. Well, this is what I'd assume would obviously be happening. It would be like they see your artwork, they purely have to like they have a few seconds to like honestly have like a true like honest opinion of it, and if they don't like it, they simply just have to send a message back and say, unfortunately, you're unaccepted. Like obviously it'd be great if people went into depth saying maybe like why you weren't accepted, but the only like challenge about that is that obviously it's all to a timing thing, and
yes, yes,
like that's why I've always like I know obviously so I came across your work and I talked to you through LinkedIn, and
yes,
LinkedIn was how me and Amanpreet were always talking and stuff, and it was our way to get to know one another and stuff, and that was my way of also finding out information when it came to just any question that I wanted to learn in terms of this industry. I would always reach out to people on LinkedIn,
yeah,
and that was my thought process is I would send a person a message, and even if they didn't respond back, like sometimes you get some really great responses because there's a lot of people out there who are willing to help. But
yes, yes,
you did summarize it perfectly though. That I completely respect what you're trying to say. Like it is sometimes it is a pain when people don't respond back, especially if you're waiting for to like say for example you've been given I don't know a certain time limit to get certain things done. Like it affects your daily life. Like all these things come into play, and if you're playing a waiting game and you're and not knowing that they're not actually going to respond back, it just makes matters worse.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome. So
yeah,
that's a great topic. That was one I haven't I don't think I haven't mentioned that in the podcast. Nice, right? Okay.
yeah.
So the since we're actually on this subject, and since I'm actually looking at your artwork right now, so before we
Mhm.
jump on to the next question, it'd be really cool just to talk about maybe your this is actually so I'm kind of putting you on the spot here because I never actually sent you this question.
Yeah,
It's about vegetation and about just the art that you make. Like obviously you're an environment artist and you're skilled in a lot of different things, but it'd be
yeah.
great to kind of just hear your thought process and like how did you make the North Kingdom, is that like your main passion, like the foliage sort of aspect?
Yeah, no, look, for this, like, my main thing was like I wanted to show the progress, like whatever I learned in the 2 years, and like all the like I improved a lot in Dhruva. So I learned a lot from my peers, and even online watched tutorials and all. Because in Dhruva, this is the first time I got to learn, got to see Unreal. So they were mostly working on Unreal Engine. So this is the first time I tried Unreal Engine. So I became a fan at that time. Like I said, like Unreal is awesome. So the output they were getting out of the engine there was great. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought like I should make something in that quality. And the second thing was like because that old work of mine that I put in the bottom of the artwork, that I wanted to show like improvement, like what I passed out with and what not what knowledge I had when I passed out and what I'm capable to do now.
Yeah.
or like what happened in between, and what I learned, and how what where I improved now. So that I wanted to show. For that was the main reason to work on that scene.
Awesome.
So when I started working on it, it was like simple scene. But like when I keep ideas keep bringing, like I asked my peers, also asked on polycount, and like there were very good artists like Sheen Scott and one other, I forgot the name. They gave very good feedbacks, and one of my like friend at Dhruva, he gave me very good tips for the composition and everything. And so for the main reason, passion for this was to show the skill level, what I learned till now. So
Nice.
the main thing. And
No,
the second, like it keep improving, keep taking feedbacks, and like whoever give me feedback, I take it positively.
yeah,
If it's like constructing feedback, it's adding up to the scene. If it's making it better, I added it.
of course.
So if yeah, so like that, it's keep improving, keep improving. I started it in I think April 2018, and I submitted it at I think January 2019. I think it took like around like 8 months to
Okay.
to finish.
Perfect. Like I'm really glad you said the time there, because this is one that I think people overvalue, or like they stress about too much. Because I made as always, everyone knows I made this train piece that I keep talking about in the
Yeah,
podcast. I do
yeah.
apologize.
No, no worries, no worries.
it's
It's like good point actually. Yeah,
it's literally my last piece, so I'm like I can only talk about my last piece, guys.
yeah,
But so that took me 6.5 to 7 months, and like similar to what you were saying, so 8 months. So the main point here, and it's so obvious, is just focus on learning how to make quality. And
yeah,
when you see Amanpreet's work, like you can see, like it is breathtaking. It was weird. It was kind of like a nostalgic kind of. It kind of reminded me of a bit of God of War.
yeah,
And I was like, that dude,
yeah.
that guy's making great art. I was so happy. I was like, I can't wait to talk to you about this.
Like yeah, Kodo is the game. I'm in game industry actually. So like that's the game I used to play as a childhood. In a game parlor, they had God of War.
Yeah.
So as I got interested in the like God of War had story, and it had like beautiful environments,
Mm-hmm.
and like both of the game. My third was cruelty. So like I'm not into that, but the things which God of War had like made me interested in games more. Like
Nice.
I said, I want to do that. So like that's the main thing.
Because
So
no, that's great. Because it's like, so I was reading about like obviously like your like the great thing I like about your art station is that you talk about in depth in the description about your process and what you do, and for example also like your value of the piece concept and stuff, like you were talking about your lighting and your composition focus, and
yeah,
then obviously you were learning speed tree as well, and
yeah.
like that's a great thing as well, is like so obviously like I understand like this whole like these pieces were based around am I correct, the Voidal Japan challenge.
Yes, yes.
So it'd be actually be great to talk about like what was your experience like doing the challenge.
So this was my second channel actually. So third channel I participated in King Arthur. I was not able to finish it actually. So like I'm working on it on free time now.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my second challenge. If you see my portfolio, there will be my first challenge in the last artwork, the Unquiet Grave, which was like a Wild West challenge. So that was the first time I made a full environment in Unreal Engine.
Right.
So so you can see like what I made in that then, and you can see the progress. I just added it there just to show the progress. Like that was me trying first time, and this is me after learning so many things.
Yeah.
So so again, like I keep adding those things, like just to show the progress, what I learned, what efforts I put into. So
Of
that the
course.
mainly sure. So the for the value of a piece, my main interest was like when I saw the concept, like because I spent my childhood in a small village which was like on the bank of river.
Right.
So I was also interested by the mood of the concept art. So and of course foliage is there. So so I got interested in the scene. Like I said, like it's like simple, small, and like beautiful scene. So when I started making it slowly, so the lighting part was most interesting because I had zero experience in that.
Okay.
Uh, so I wanted to do more in the lighting. So first I wanted to make four different light scenarios. Like there is like morning, early morning, afternoon, dusk, and the night. So then, because of the less time, I chose to go with two, early morning and the night, because like those were looking good also. Like my other was not looking good. So then I focus on that and keep working on that. Like keep polishing it, taking feedbacks, and keep polishing it. I think that that's the main thing. Like taking feedbacks and polishing the scenes is the main thing.
Yeah,
If you even if you check the progress, you will see like 90% of the time it's not looking that good.
yeah,
But like, after 90%, the last 10% polishing phase is the like key phase,
yeah,
like where you polish your scene to the maximum,
of
where you
course.
take the feedbacks and everything. And even you don't have feedback, you still try to push it. Like that last 10%, you push it to the like for the limit.
Yeah,
So that's the main thing. Like keep me like pushing it. Even like one of person said like because why I chose to make it beautiful. I said like, one of my person said like this you chose a wrong concept. It's not looking good. It's not a good concept you chose. So he said me like when I was working on this. So that actually hurt me. I said no, I will make it beautiful.
you'll make it beautiful. That's your objective. I'm gonna make
Yeah.
it good.
So like what's the point of an environment artist if you can tell the story, if you can't make a picture beautiful? What's the point of an environment artist?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I don't know. It's just you have to get like that story. Well, it's just how can I say it? Like for example, so I'm working on this large scale environment sort of how can I say it? What is so it's called Iron Pot. So basically, it's like a mine, and
Okay.
it's like sci-fi. It's almost like sci-fi meets kind of I don't know Blade Runner esque, but it's
Okay, okay, okay.
like it's a
Yeah.
mixture of everything, and it's just like you have to kind of like think how to kind of not only add your own touch, but how to kind of add something that really tells a story. Whether it's maybe like that's the thing is like environment arts, you have to realize you also have the ability to just place characters in your scene and
Yeah.
utilize things in your scene or like certain props. Like for example, take Amanpreet's work. He has like the boat and he has the hat and stuff. Like these things are coming together in terms of a composition, all working together as one to highlight where you want your eye to read and where like the focal point is and stuff. And it's these small things that are like the great final touches that go such a long way into actually giving it meaning. And like that's the great thing as well is like what you said there about lighting, like creating lighting in Unreal. So many people when they're first starting out don't realize how important lighting is. And if you can learn to appreciate and take the time that lighting deserves, your artwork will just skyrocket ahead.
Yeah. Yes. You can check my work as well. Like even if you check update GIF I provided here, you can see the last two update like the lighting changes. Like like it is like flat yellow lighting to go into the mood of like there is a blue like haze is there like and there is like little yellow lighting is on the HUD. So it's on the final point. Like you can see how it become a like really good picture when I polish the lighting
Yep,
and atmospheric effects and everything. So lighting is a main thing. It
definitely.
set up the mood actually.
Because like one of the things as well that I was reading is you have a background as well in concept art as well, don't you? Like you have like you've done a bit of concept art as well.
No, 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 not a concept.
Oh, what was I reading then? Somebody was saying that you have good concept artwork in on your LinkedIn. And I was like, oh, he has a bit of concept art background as well. But maybe they were, I don't know, they were saying something
Maybe they
wrong.
were talking about the concept of the environment, like how I made the environment, because it's like a little bit different from the main concept. So they might have talking about the like that
Yep,
concept of making the environment.
awesome. No, that's okay. That's not a problem at all. So as always, so we've talked about two main really important areas that I wanted to talk about, but there's one thing I wanted to talk about. Obviously, like this is a based around your experience in India. It'd be really great. In like people who are listening, would you recommend, or is there like what would you say is the main benefits at university in India at the moment? Is there any main things that you think they're doing good at, or is maybe anything that they can maybe improve at? Because
Uh,
obviously you're saying about industry standard that it'd be great if they maybe got up to date and stuff. Like there's a lot of things of that in the UK as well that we're trying to get up to date. And I was just curious if anything else comes to mind.
yeah, like for if it's like universities versus online education, I will be always on the side of online education.
Okay.
So because like I spent 3 years and I was nowhere.
Yeah.
And like because that and then one of my senior gave me tutorials. He said like these are called tutorials. I didn't know the word before. So he told me these are called tutorials, so you can learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
So was the tutorials like my mind was blown. Like I said, like why do I have to go anywhere? Like when I have tutorials, like I can learn like anything from these.
Yep.
So then I started learning from the tutorials and keep improving, like because like I didn't had a focus, like I didn't had a medium like where I want to go, like is gaming or prop or characters. Like if I had one focus, then I would have watched tutorials for that only. Like if I need Max and Painter only to make good props, so I will focus on that only because I was not focused enough in my studying time. I was studying about VFX. I was studying about animation. I was studying about architecture,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was also doing freelance and I was doing any project that I get, like even if it's architecture, even rigging, animation, anything, like I was doing it because again, so like I was just putting myself into that position, like where I can't. I'm confusing myself only. So like what I suggest is mainly like if you have focus, if you know like you want to go to games. So the first of all, I think many artists said that like you can start as a prop artist, like which is like very startup job. Like they need many prop artists. Even you can start with environment artist because but in environment there are lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the prop is a simple thing. Like you don't need to learn so many softwares. Even Unreal is not required that much. When you want to go to props. So if you want to go to games in the starting, just focus on props. You need just two, three software, just say Max or Maya or even Blender. Blender is like doing awesome things now.
Yep.
Like you Painter or Photoshop if you can do texturing there, even Quixel if you can, and like just Marmoset.
Yep.
You are like you make three good props, three, not many, not less, no more. Just three good props and you are ready for the industry. And like you don't need to go for like universities or colleges for that. I think everything is available online. Everything.
Yep.
You just search on YouTube and it's available.
Because it's always been a thing that so it's become a trend on the podcast, and the reason why I've asked, obviously when I'm doing the podcast I like to change questions up and that, but I also like to highlight the trends through each well, mainly through the amount of guests. So I've had, I think, so I've done 50 podcasts and I've had about 50 plus guests, because I've had a few 4 guests on one podcast and then a few multiple like having like 2 people on the podcast at once. And a lot of things have been raised in terms of like there's so much things accessible to you guys on the internet that you guys can utilize to really improve your skill set. Like take for example Tim Simpson, such a legend, and he's just made another great lighting tutorial. Literally just uploaded it today. So
Yes, yeah, I just saw it also.
like he's amazing. Like, he's awesome, that guy.
Yeah.
And like there's so much great tutorials, but like that's the thing as well. It's like the education system is obviously trying to play catch up, but it's also down to I guess the whole concept of money in that. But I don't know
Yes.
in terms of how things are run. Obviously like I ask people to come on the podcast to get their perspective. Oops, sorry. To get their perspective, and it's like I don't know. It's just interesting how that a lot of people, I guess, have said that they haven't been taught like the right stuff. It's like when you see like, especially like obviously like there's some schools, like for example your Noman, like in America, like you got these juggernauts that have literally all the great teachers and stuff. Like that's awesome. Like if you have the chance to maybe go there, like I've heard good things about it, so maybe check it out.
Yeah, like Nomon and CGMA and like even the Ryan's Kinglands, like that game art school.
Yeah.
Like those people teach specific things which I love. Like they know like they are teaching characters, then they will focus on characters only. If it's animation, then they will focus on animation only. It's not like jibber jabber, like they will teach everything and they will just charge money for everything, and now you're confused like what do you want to do.
Yeah.
So that like even but that time like when I was studying there was no good internet actually. So and I didn't have like there are many good PCs as well. So I was not able to learn that much. Like that time there was very less tutorials and everything. In past 5 years I think like it changed. Like there are like so many online like even like you can get the education like even courses in very cheap price. Like recently I bought like Indie Pixels procedural racetrack in like around $6.
Whoa, right, okay, right,
Yeah,
nice.
it's like 200 plus videos and 18 hours of content like in $6.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like you can understand like how accessible the education is. Even like I started to learn Python. Like I had basic knowledge, but I wanted to learn refresh it. So I found a very good tutorial on Open Code Academy, something like that,
mm-hmm,
a free code academy or something like that. So they had like one 4 hour tutorial in Python. So that was like amazing.
yeah,
It cleared all the concepts in 4 hours. So that's what I'm saying. Like because education is like so accessible now. Like you just type the name of the thing and just type tutorial. It's
yeah,
available there.
like,
So that's not the only they are not giving a right view because no one is giving, and even CGM is giving. Like if I want to join a course, if I'm interested in environment, so they have like different environment.
mm-hmm,
Even like one of my friend got admission in CGMA because he had interested in level design.
okay,
So he took the course on CGMA on level design, and now he also have interest in lighting. So he is taking another lighting CGMA course as well. So like so CGM have like particular courses and on highest quality,
yeah,
which I love the most. If like even Indian institute or even like abroad anywhere like institutes or colleges universities can provide that, I will be very happy to send students there to learn.
definitely, because like if you're listening and you're a lecturer, like I know there's a lot of lecturers that I've been taught in the past who listen to the podcast, and they're great lecturers. I've been taught by a lot of I've been blessed to get taught by a lot of great people, but I am aware that like these people also have access to reaching out to other people to tell of how to improve things. But I also it's always difficult. It's like trying to get certain people's opinions and voices actually heard. And like that's the reason why I literally started the podcast, was that I wanted to start getting more stories and more content out to actually attract the lecturers' attention, and then hopefully more students would actually like listen to the truth, because
Yeah,
there,
definitely.
because there's so much things like, do you know, like when you typically like open a brochure for a university or like an article describing it, they'll always say, oh, we're amazing, we're the best university ever, and then you go there and you're like, I'm not referring this to my university, by the way. I love my university. So
Yeah.
by the way, Abertay University, you're amazing, just so you know.
Mhm.
But there is like these cases in which people are getting advertised false information, and I get it. Like people obviously want to hype up their work, but it's like people are spending thousands of money and going to debt to get told. Like for example, you weren't like you lost your focus because you weren't sure what to do, because they were just teaching you a bit of everything and there was no sense of helping with direction.
Yeah. So like the same thing, the education might have improved by now. Like it's been like 5 years. Like I left the institute. So,
Yeah.
but I still see on LinkedIn. Like I connect to the students. Like I see like when some of the students send me requests as well. Like, but they don't talk actually, but they just for networking purpose. Like they have so many connections.
Yeah.
So they are also doing the same thing. What we were doing that time. Like they were posting like props or characters every day. They keep posting environments every day. So I like if they don't approach me, I try to approach them. Like I can stop them now only. Like I try myself. Like because, look, I don't want them to go through the same thing what I've been through.
Of course.
I try my best to do that. Like so, I send them a message like I saw your artwork. It's really good. Like and tell them like these few things I felt like you can improve upon. Like it will be great. Like if you spend some more time and focus on these three. Like, I check their portfolio as well. If they have like 10 pieces, I select like these three, four are like best. You can polish them and repost them and remove others like
Mm-hmm.
which you think are not good, and your portfolio is gold then. So
Definitely.
like some people listen, some don't, and some got angry. And recently it happened. Like one environment like guy who was like aspiring environment he written. So he said he was posting environment like after every 2 days. He was posting environments. So I felt like he's using packs downloaded the pack from Unreal and making environment and telling his own. So I try to ask like if you are making all the assets or you are downloading them.
Yeah.
Because like you can go as level art, because there is a position as a level art. So he first I asked like, you using packs? He said no, I made everything. So I said, then checked, I sent him the screenshot of his work. I said, these are from that asset pack, this is from that asset pack. So you are not fooling anyone. This is like everyone saw all the work whichever available
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said, no, no, I used some. So, but like most of it is mine.
Yeah.
So then I said, like, if you're interested in level art, then you can download. You can freely say, I downloaded it. I made a new level out of it. So then he said, I know.
Right.
Yeah, so like it was rude. Like, look, I'm sending him like I'm trying to explain him. He said like, I know these things. Like, don't tell me or something like that. So like, then I didn't message him afterwards. So like, there's just some people take it like offensively, or some try to help. Even like some of the students like send me message after a while, like after a few months, they said like, I updated this pieces, can you give us the feedback? And I happy to,
Yeah.
like, I tell him like, whenever you need my help, just message me, I will be available
Of
to
course.
help you wherever you need it.
Because
So
like
yeah.
feedback's just one of those things in which I think a lot of people like I've said it a few times in the podcast, in the sense that people have to stop but I know it's so hard not to, but it's like everyone gets so precious with things, and
Yes.
you have to realize to, obviously, like I say all the time, learning to ask questions, but it's also like speaking of what Amanpreet's talking about is basically getting the right feedback, and like learning how to talk to people, showing respect. Like I haven't said this one in a long time, but it's like simply just being able to just be respectable. It's something so small, but you never going back to one of the most raised points in the industry is that the industry is so small. Obviously it's so big, but it's also so small in terms of connections and stuff. So it's like, for example, when I do the podcast, like I'm reaching out to people all around the world, and it's like
Yes.
you never know. It's like it's all down to how you approach the conversation, how you show the respect they deserve. Because you never know, that person might be working with you one day, or might know someone that you don't know, and tell them something about you that you probably don't want them to hear. So it's like developing a good relationship with everyone, and being honest. Like you nailed it perfectly just there, man. Like you have to be honest about the work that you do, and for example, the artwork I'm doing at the moment, I'm recreating a concept artist work and then turning it into myself. But therefore, I have to give the concept artist respect, and attach him in the work, saying that I'm
Yes, yes.
recreating his work. And a common trend that I'm really glad everyone's been doing as well, is asking them for permission first. So I sent this the artist a message saying, can I please recreate your work and then turn it into like a world and stuff? And he was like into my own sort of thing, and he says, yeah, just make it really look cool. And I was like, awesome, a happy days.
Nice.
And it's just these small things that go such a long way.
Yeah. But like that's the thing, like, because like the person you are talking to, you might be working with them in future. Like you might be sitting next to next and working on the next project. But if you burn the bridge so early, if you don't talk to them, if you talk rude on the feedback
Yeah.
and all, that goes a long way.
Yeah. And the one thing I actually want to raise up to carry on this question before we go into the next topic is, there's some questions, believe it or not, that this is going to sound obvious as well, but there's some questions that you simply can't ask as well. Like there's some questions that people ask certain people in studios. Oh, how did you like? What do I do to get that? Or how do I do that? Like sometimes they can't tell you the answer, so don't feel that they're judging you if they don't respond to a certain thing like that. It's just that they can't. It's like there's certain rules that you have to follow when it comes to the industry. And you just have to respect that certain situations they can't answer all your questions. So
Yeah, yes. Like even like some people ask about the projects we are working on, like again. So we can't tell what we are working on there. Like you can ask like how we work, how we make things, but you can't ask like what we are working on.
yeah, of course. And like I think so many people have to realize that like it's going into a touchy subject for people. Sometimes it makes people uncomfortable. So just learn how to to respect that one, because a lot of people I've had on the podcast has been explaining that to me, and it's just down to giving people the respect they deserve. Right.
Yeah.
So this go into another fun subject. So we were talking about this literally before the podcast, and it was your experience with writing. So you were saying like you write poems and stuff, and you're very heavily involved with writing, and writing is amazing. It's what I do pretty much almost every day as well, like on the side. So it'd be great to hear just how important has writing been in your art journey?
Yeah, so like writing was like a hobby because like the main thing is like how I work, like I work on opportunities actually. So like Dhruva gave me opportunity, so I try to like excel in that. In school, so there was writing competition. So I think it was in ninth standard, I think. So I participated in that,
Mm-hmm.
and so I gave my name, and my teacher cut off the name from the list. She said like how you gonna write? You don't even get passing marks. So how you gonna write?
Yeah.
So, like she said something like that because like I was getting very less mark in the subject, so I can't write.
Okay.
So like that hurt me actually. So I said like because I believe like anyone can write.
Of course.
Everyone should write. So they have their personal experience, their personal stories and feelings they can share through writing. What you can tell, you can write. It's not need to be like 100% your personal. It can be imaginative also. So you can share your imagination and all the things you think about.
Mm-hmm.
So like so from the school I started writing from silly like kids poems and everything like that, like very like simple rhyming, and slowly when I kept writing, so I started putting meaning to it. So but as I said, like I've been through a very dark phase of my life, like when I didn't had job, when I had job, which was like very ugly. It
Mm-hmm.
went. So that was very dark phase. I like my poems got serious, and
Okay.
it got meanings, and it got like anyone can put that point into their story. It was like becoming like that. So that time when people started to like my poems and like small snippets like 4 liners, 2 liners. So when those words got meaning and some feeling into it, at that time I got recognition. Then I started going out like at open mics and everything. So it's like again it's art community. So the one thing I felt was like I recently read somewhere like even Alex Bedos on artificial learning course. He said like spend time with someone who appreciate you
Yeah.
or who understand you. So in the first one was like this game industry, like artist in Dhruva. The first one they understood me. Second was the writing community who understood me.
Yeah.
They appreciated me to do more. So they wanted me to do more. They were not like trying to bring me down or they want to try to stop me. They were always pushing me to do more and more and more.
Of
So
course.
that's how I excel into this. Like I write it so many, like I think like almost like more than 500, like I think poems I have written till now.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
amazing. That's awesome.
yeah. So like I'm planning to publish a book in future. So let's see, let's hope for that. So I'm collecting like I have like very scattered at very different places. I have some in my computer, some on phone, some online. I posted. So I'm collecting everything, and I will see if it's possible to publish a book. So like
Once you're finished, make sure to send it to me and I'll share it about.
sure, I will send you earlier only. No worries. So you
Perfect.
can give me feedback.
Awesome.
So
I'm completely
yeah,
down.
yeah. So so like it's again like it's a way to share your story. Like it's a way of expressing yourself. So I
Yeah.
enjoy it
No,
very much.
I'm so glad you said that because I've been I do writing a lot, so I'm trying to write. I've been writing like a book
Hmm.
for about, I would say, about 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
Hmm.
Nothing is final at all. Like everything doesn't make sense. There's no logic at all into it yet. But
That that
one day there will be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I was reading a biography of an writer. He's a culture Punjabi writer. So he said he used to write, right? So he never thought of like what he's writing, if he's on topic or not, if he's um, according to the last thing he write, he just write. He will write 2 pages
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. Daily, he will just write 2 pages.
Yeah.
Come on. So he kept writing, and in the end he had like more than like 50 books,
Wow.
like that. He published more than 50 books. He said like people ask him how did you do that? He's just writing like like 2 pages which don't mean anything,
Yep.
just 2 pages. That's how I wrote these many books. So
Damn.
that's what, yeah.
No, that's super nice. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. Because it's just writing. It's I think people would forget to realize that it's that trail of thought that helps your imagination, and like one of the coolest moments is like, do you know when you have like obviously like, your notepad beside your bed, and you're just like, wait, I've got an idea. Where's the book? Where's the book? And like
Yeah.
I'm instantly like writing it down, and so like the worst feeling ever. This is like people call it old age, but I'm not old. I'm not aging. 'Cause
No.
it's like people always say to me, it's like what's the phrase? It's like do you know when you have something at the back of your head and you just can't get it out, and you're trying to remember what it
Yeah.
is. Like that's the worst
Yeah.
feeling ever. I'm just like,
Yeah.
please come back to me, memory, please.
It happens. Like a lot of people ask me like whenever they say like recite your poem, like I don't remember anything. Like
Yeah,
some of them like, but on spot I don't remember anything. They say like what kind of writer you are. Like you don't even remember your one of your poem. So
yeah,
I said like it don't click me. Like it like when I'm walking or I'm sitting somewhere, it suddenly click
yeah,
and I write down few lines and it's like that only. So it's not like that. If I sit somewhere like today I want to write, I won't be able to.
yeah.
So it happens to me like that. So it clicks.
Definitely, because
Uh,
like everyone who's tuning in, I highly recommend you to just like maybe just invest like literally. So in like the stores, there's like always like a £1 or like a really cheap just notepad, and it's all you need. You only need one notepad, and it could last you for ages. And
yeah.
it's just like one day, based on what Amanpreet's saying, is that get a few notes down. Just to help your imagination, and you never know where it might take you. It might help you create your own world. It might help you make your own book. It might help you explore just your creativity and learn more. And like that's the thing as well with reading. So
Yeah, like as you were saying this, like I'm getting to the same point. Like it's the same for our 3D art as well.
mhm,
Like if you're making like big environment, just spend 2 hours a day like, or 1 hour a day
yeah,
on specific thing. Even if it's like not matching to the environment right now, just add it there and polish it like for 1 hour, like consistently. Again, the consistency is the thing. Like if you keep working on your environment or a prop, you keep doing small things.
mhm.
Add one small thing and keep adding more things, and it will be beautiful in the end. It
Yeah.
will.
Like this is awesome because I've never talked about this on the podcast, and I'm really glad that we went into the depth about the writing
Yeah.
aspect because it's weird. It's like we slowly got into a habit. Obviously it's not good to assume everyone is, but like everyone's kind of forgot like the traditional methods and just the small things of just what things used to be. Like everyone always there used to be a time in which everyone used to have a diary, and like I remember my sister growing up always had a diary, and she'd always be writing just random things or just sketching in it and stuff, and
Yeah.
just daily updates and stuff, and it helped her keep her structure, and all these things are great for just like even like your memories, like your daily routine, like all the memories that you had maybe as a childhood and stuff helps create worlds. Like that's what everything that we've made, like everything you know is based off other worlds and things that you've seen. So utilizing
Yeah.
that and making worlds from that is what's going to make you a better artist.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah, like, a really nice topic like to talk on. Like,
Pardon?
like yeah, like that topic can go on like forever. Like
Yeah.
it's like we can talk forever.
We can literally like, that's the thing about writing is like there's so many different things in it. Like for example, like one of the main things is like when it comes to like books and stuff is themes. Like you could just literally write 1,000 themes down, and then you just then break it down into like categories in terms of like maybe like civilizations, or like I don't know types of cities, what's the climate like, the weather.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things is so there's like 3 kind of film series that I really love. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on them, but like I like things like the Hunger Games, Maze Runner, and then the Divergent series.
Yeah.
And
Awesome movies.
like I love that world, and it's like
Yes.
that kind of it's like you can tell like it's a specific type of world. It's kind of dystopian. It's kind of like everything's like abandoned and stuff, and you slowly begin to develop a relationship and get yourself into that world of like imagine I was there, and then kind of like the younger generation relates to it because like they're teenagers, like, oh my gosh, imagine I was in that world. Like, what's going to happen?
Yes. Yeah. That's like you're living the story is like main thing. Like for me, like what kind of stories I like because like see the God of War. If I'm talking about the God of War, because it have like that Greek mythology in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like the movies and series like more like which have like connection to history.
Mm-hmm.
If there is certain event happened in the history and they are like even in Assassin's Creed they showed something like that. Like so, if some event happened in the history, they connected through their main character.
Yeah.
So the character go through the story, and that event is happening, and then you go through your story. And I really like that integral part of that, like how they connect the history or any other event with the main story of the game,
Mm-hmm.
like or any other movie or any book or story. But
Yeah.
I really like those kind of ideas.
Because I don't know, it's just I think people forget that there's so much like obviously I understand, like obviously a lot of people like to make great art and stuff, but it's like when you kind of take that step to actually going into depth about the story, that's when you actually kind of just want to keep making it, if you know what I mean, like you just go crazy, like, and that's the best feeling ever. Because there's like so many different things that you begin to explore and you begin to realize, like for example, one of the things like I said that I'm making, so I'm making a structure, so I've beginning to look into certain like structures, like how do they get made, and then you then break it down to like where does the wear happen, the wear and tear, and where does the rust happen, and then you
Yeah.
think about like what reference could I look at that highlights like the mines and stuff, and like there's so much greatness to
Yeah.
utilize that you by writing things down through experiences or things that you've seen, just helps the process.
Yeah, like but I think like again one more thing is like the art session challenge which did like like again when I worked on feudal Japan
Mm-hmm.
challenge, I watched so many movies, videos, like I got to know about their culture and I got to know about their like old Japan, how it was like how they used to do, how was the farmers, how they used to do farming and everything. Like this was like awesome experience. You got to know about lots of stuff you
Yeah,
didn't know.
like it's the thing as well. It's like going back to what I was saying earlier. It's like I think so. There's so many people who like forget about books.
Yep.
Like I love reading, and reading's one of my main things. And
Yeah.
it's like reading a book is way better than, I don't know. Like obviously it's all personal preference. Like some people I understand just can't read a book. They just don't enjoy it at all. But
Yeah.
like the books that I'm reading at the moment, I'm so immersed in the world that I'm like in my head I'm trying to decide how the person looks, how he feels, how he like what they're doing, how they interact.
Yeah.
Like it helps the imagination just go crazy, and it's
Yeah.
one of the best
Yeah.
things to do.
Yeah, that's the point. Like main thing, like you imagine it on your own. Like you make your own story on a own environment or scenario. Like myself, I'm not a book person. Like I started reading, I think like around like 1 year ago or like 1.5 year ago.
Right?
Like I never read any book
Yep.
except school books. So so like one of my colleague had a book on his table, which was like a Hunt of Atlantis, I think, from Andy McDermott.
Right?
So, so like it was like 600 pages book. So like when I started reading it, like I started reading on that place only. So I went read like few pages. It gave me feeling of Uncharted,
Mm-hmm.
like how Uncharted game goes in like more action. Like after a while, after every 50 minutes, something will happen.
Yeah.
Like something, some building crash or some enemies will shoot at you or something will happen after every like half an hour or something like that. In that book it's like same story. I was imagining the same Uncharted scenes, like the Drake is going at places
Yeah.
in that book story.
Also.
So like I was making game in my head there.
Yeah.
Like I will use all the Uncharted assets and I make a game, like how it will look. Like it's like whole game I'm playing in my mind. I'm reading the book. And, like I got into the books. Like that one book got me reading like I think I read around like 20 or 30 books right till now.
Wow.
So
That's what I'm
that
talking about.
so single like even my first book was 600 pages. Like
Yeah.
see, I was not a book guy.
Yeah.
So like I think that's why it's like everyone should read. Like you can start from small book, and once you get the interest, and I think you can never stop. I think you can never stop.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything that you said today, man. It's been so awesome. It's it's great to kind of hear like other people's stories and stuff, and like your story was awesome. Like the first 20 minutes hearing what your story was like wow, it was like so much things going on, and like that's the thing is like when it comes to the podcast, obviously like the main focus is obviously you, the guest and stuff. So once again, folks, I know it's a bit of a sudden twist and stuff, but it's like make sure to as always give him a follow and appreciate his work, because his two mainly is like his. Like the main ones that I love the most is his two latest pieces. Like you can tell how much passion he's put into those pieces, and I highly recommend you to give it a like and give him a follow. As always, man, I always like to just
Like
on you go.
there was like there was like final thing like that we talked about before this podcast, like about the good things come to whom those people who wait. Like you
Oh
should
yeah,
like
perfect
you will
point.
stay positive. So I got the first job in Dhruva. I think after 2 years, like and staying 6 months jobless, and it was best thing happened to me till now.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, I want to thank on this podcast to all the team at Dhruva Interactive who gave me opportunity.
Yeah,
All the things I learned, like I am today is because of Dhruva. I can say straight now, like I'm today because of Dhruva only.
yeah,
So like because like as Dhruva shut down, and I came home and I was applying as I shared, like I never got reply back from any company. So that didn't let me down. Like stay positive. I keep working on like on my portfolio on side, like and keep doing freelance project. And like I'm very happy to like tell like I recently accepted a job offer at a very good place.
awesome,
And
congratulations.
yeah, thanks. And I will be announcing when I will join there. Like it's very like it's like dream job for me.
Oh, I can't
And
wait.
yeah, so this is the first time I'm telling it on podcast, so it's great.
Perfect.
So I can't wait to join there. It's all the things in going on. So see, like it's been 3 months I've been here
Mm-hmm.
at home. See, I have portfolio, I have experience. I still was not getting job.
Yeah,
So, but in all of those studios, one of them came and see, same thing happened as it happened in Dhruva. Like next day they reply back. It happened the same way. I applied and I got the reply same next day. So like I was shocked. I said like everything happened with time. Like the good things will come to you. Like you have to just to wait and keep doing good work, and it will come to you.
awesome. Like that's a great way to finish the podcast, and like I said, thank you so much for coming on. It really is an honor to talk to you. I really love your artwork, and
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me, for giving me this opportunity to talk. Like it's great. Like it was good to talk to you. Like
anytime, man.
so many good things. Yeah.
Like you're more than welcome to come on again.
Yeah.
I'm always down for podcasts. Yeah, I'm literally just like I'm the podcast guy. That's what I do. But
I will love to.
awesome. I'll note it down. So
Yeah.
as always, folks, if you're tuning in, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe. It'd be great if we could. So obviously Christmas is coming. We're closing on Christmas. It'd be great if we could get to 3,000 subscribers. Obviously my goal for the year was to get to 10,000 subscribers, but you never know. We'll keep working
Yeah.
hard. We'll keep being persistent. The dream will get there. Speaking of like covering the point that we just talked, it's all about keep working hard, having fun, and as always, make sure to smash the subscribe button and make sure to turn on the notifications to be notified every single week when the podcast is live. Another podcast tomorrow. Well, there's a few podcasts tomorrow, so constant content. And as always, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.